Well, hello and welcome to CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Andy Gress, sales executive at Embedding Consulting. Embedding is a management consulting firm based here in Cincinnati, Ohio, working with various types of companies to support their innovation journey, both in data analytics, technology, and operations. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Jackie Guan, Senior Vice President of Global Data Analytics and Chief Data and Analytics Officer at Marriott Vacations Worldwide. Jackie, excited for the conversation today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited as well.
So when you look internally, what qualities do you look for when building a data team in a complex and very customer-centric industry like hospitality?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say that technical skill is really the foundation of the starting point, right? So as part of our recruiting process, and candidates must pass the technical assessment required for the areas that they are applying for. But that's only a starting point. And so the second important criteria we're looking for is really this business aligned mindsets, which really that we require. I would like to have people that have a strong desire to solve business problem using the right appropriate technical approach. And it's really have the desire to drive business results and deliver business value through their technical skills. And I think this is really important for the success of the team. And so I would say that for us, it's not about developing the coolest, the latest model. It's really about developing a solution that really solve the business problem most effectively. And then beyond that, the third thing we also would like to have in our candidates, our associates, really to have that general sense of curiosity and always are interested in learning new techniques or new approach, as well as learning the business area they currently support. And I think our group's ACE award actually captured this really well. And so basically that's an award that for every quarter, our leadership team really nominate. And the ACE, the three character really stands for three things that we really look for in our associates. So the A really stands for agile mindset. Because as you mentioned earlier, in our space, that to do that POC, to learn the latest things, to be able to iterate really quickly and be able to learn from those pilot and to even fail quickly before we really scale the work to make sure it's productionized ready is really important. And the second, the C really stands for collaboration and communication. So that is more about being a really good team player, be able to collaborate and communicate very effectively with all the people that we work with. And lastly, E really stands for excellence. It's really about driving the results and be able to deliver with excellence always. And then also have the sense of willing to go above and beyond to really support our business stakeholder. So I think that award really captured the three things that we really want to have our associates to really embody to be successful for our team.
Yeah, I love that. It makes me think of two things. One is this concept that what you celebrate is what you replicate, right? Mm-hmm. And so what you're celebrating on your team is the culture that you're perpetuating. The things that get celebrated replicate themselves through the organization. So I love that you're celebrating, those three values and really trying to perpetuate those on your team. The other thing, when you were talking about excellence, that it makes me think of is this idea that the vision sets the standard. So when you have the vision for your team and you have a collective vision that is really clear, it sets the standard for what your team is trying to achieve. And it kind of poses the question that I'd ask you is, how do you ensure that your team stays aligned to that vision? And how do you help the team stay aligned to the business function and the goals and really not just build for the sake of building, but stay aligned to what the bigger picture is?
Yeah, definitely. This is something I also think about often as well. I would say that it always starts by hiring the right people that with the right skill set as well as the right mentality. And then it's really about helping them to achieve their maximum potential in their role by really building a really healthy, supportive, but also very collaborative and result-driven culture. And in addition to all that general kind of guideline, we also have some ongoing activities or actions that I think is really important. Number one, in that sense, is that we already have, but continue to have really clear data analytics strategy that we discussed earlier that must be aligned with the business objective, right? And we always try to translate the business goal into really data analytics priorities that my team always focus on. And in this process, we also need to have a really clear roadmap and have a clear definition of the short-term, long-term goals that we're trying to achieve and the social initiatives that we are working on to deliver all those business initiatives and with a timeline that fits the business needs. And the second thing is also that we want to make sure we always foster a strong cross-culture, cross-functional relationship with our business partners. In fact, that we actually embedded multiple of our team members in the business units themselves. So this really help our team members to truly understand the business knowledge of the business area that they really need to support, as well as the challenges and opportunity they face on a day-to-day basis, so that we can really, in a timely manner, utilize data analytics approach to help the business to solve those challenges. And the third thing I would say that the constantly measuring our impact as well as communicate those impact is really critical, because it's really important for our associate to be able to see and also be appreciated for their impacts that they're currently making through their hard work. And lastly, something we mentioned already, that we must always stay agile and also stay adaptive throughout the time as well, and the ability to leverage agile methodology to be able to iterate quickly. I think those are really critical things that we are constantly focusing on to ensure that we stay aligned with the business at all time.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, having your team sit with the business, it helps create an empathy and it really helps create kind of that relationship and that understanding that is so crucial when you're building. And it's so easy for those things to get bifurcated, but to stay aligned and stay collaborative is so crucial. It also makes me think of this concept that I think a lot of organizations wrestle with, which is, they think about AI or they think about data or they think about analytics as an isolated silo within the business, similar to how people, historically kind of thought about IT. And the reality is that everyone in the organization is using data in some capacity now. And so having it stay isolated creates a lot of challenges. Whereas when you're in the business, when you're sitting within, the users or the divisions or the teams that are actually leveraging the data, it does create that feedback loop and that collaboration that is so crucial. And it helps create some learning, right? It helps create some opportunities for both the data team to learn and the business to learn how they can work together to better leverage data. Talk to us about that learning cycle. So talk to us about the role that maybe learning or continuous learning plays in kind of keeping your team ahead of this very rapidly evolving landscape that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that the continuous learning is really critical for us to be successful in our field, because this field is really always constantly changing, right? And there's always new technology disruptions, and there's always new tools or new approach or new modeling techniques that we need to leverage or become available for us to leverage. And I think there's another aspect to it is that we are also the change agents for the organization, right? It's like organization actually give us the responsibility to really transform how they do business, how they operate, utilizing AI, utilizing data. So my team and I are very excited, and actually we're really passionate about being in such a critical position as a change agent, especially nowadays in the age of AI. And I would say that we don't really take this responsibility lightly. Not only that, we need to continue to learn to be really good at our job and deliver the project with the best outcome, but we also have the responsibility to always stay ahead and to make sure that we can be successful in terms of competition, to ensure that our company had the long-term success through leveraging data, leveraging analytics, and also AI machine learning tools. And I also want to mention that actually I'm really proud how well my team is already doing in this space. So utilize the latest disruption we discussed already, that in terms of Gen AI and the large language model, right? Can you believe it? Like ChatGPT first came out in the market really end of 2022. It's actually just about 2 years ago, right? And to me, that already feels like a long time
Crazy.
ago, because I use Copilot and ChatGPT almost on a daily basis. Yes. Sometimes like I don't know how to operate it without those tools. And but let's set that aside. And 2.5 years ago, right, the company wasn't really thinking about Gen AI, large language model at all. The primary focus we had was really on RPA, VBA, and some data science models. However, just merely 2 years later, we have already conducted multiple Gen AI POCs, as we mentioned earlier. Awesome. We already have developed a ROC architecture, and we already developed a tool called the Chat MVW. It's really leveraging the ROC architecture and the large language model to be able to provide a lot of insights and be able to for our associate to easily find information, leveraging our internal data and the large language model together. And most recently, we have already started to explore AI agents through different POCs as well. So we're really, as I mentioned earlier, preparing to start on the production development of one of the completed Gen AI POCs. And I have to say that without the really quick and continuous learning from our associate, we couldn't have made so much progress in such a short time. But I also want to mention that this is just only the starting point. We still have a long way to go in this space. And it is super exciting, but also made the case that, to your point, the continuous learning is absolutely critical in our space.
Yeah, I think so many of us are thinking about that, where it's like, man, there's so many opportunities and there's so much potential, and we don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but we know that we're just kind of at the start of figuring out how we make a positive impact on the business using these advanced and innovative tools. And I think so much of what you've shared during our time together has kind of come back to strong leadership principles and the culture that you're setting and how you're bringing the team along with you and how you're creating a culture, a high impact culture on your team so that we can be flexible and adaptive, because the technology is changing so rapidly that to really anchor to a specific technology or to anchor to a specific tool or way of thinking can create some barriers and some challenges, and really leaning back on continuous learning, change management, bringing people along with you, celebrating, what you want to replicate. Those concepts are so crucial and will lend to that flexible type of working environment that you're describing. So I really appreciate your perspectives, and I'm excited to see where you continue to go and continue to have an impact, and what MVW continues to do in the future around data. Jackie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me today. For more interviews and insights, please visit cdomagazine.tech. Thank you.
Thank you.